All right, man. Well, one of the most knowledgeable boxing people I know, if not the most knowledgeable, my man Stephen Breadman Edwards. Obviously, wanted to get your take on the September 13th fight. You've been around this thing a long time, Bread. We've seen, Duran go up and fight Leonard, Leonard go up and fight Hagler, Bernard go up and fight Tarver. Is this that feeling for you with Crawford Canelo, or is this different from some of those examples?
Um, that's a good question. Each case is different. The closest one that I could think of is probably Leonard Hagler because of the body styles.
Mm-hmm.
Hagler was not an overly tall middleweight. Leonard was actually taller than him, and the styles that's probably a it's not an exact replica because Hagler was the southpaw, and Crawford is the southpaw in this one. But just the smaller man coming from 47, but the man who is going to be taller and longer in the fight. So Leonard was way less than Hagler, but he had a height advantage and he had the faster feet. And I think that this is the more logical comparison with Canelo and Crawford because Crawford is taller, longer, and he has the more agile feet. Hagler was not a huge middleweight, and Canelo was not a huge super middleweight. Mm-hmm. So that's the closest one, although it's not an exact replica. No two fights are the same, but that's the closest one from my point of view.
It feels like to me that anyone picking Canelo is obviously looking at the weight discrepancy. Anyone picking Crawford is looking at, fight IQ and skill set and things like that. What are the separations for you, Brett?
I actually was looking at things, and Canelo checks a lot. Canelo checks a lot of boxes. Mm-hmm. I think that Canelo obviously has more big fight experience. He's been in with better opponents. I think he hits a little harder. He has a great chin. I think that he's better defensively as far as just avoiding big punches. I think that his natural defensive reflexes are a little bit better than Crawford's. Mm-hmm. Crawford, in my opinion, has better conditioning, better stamina. He's more agile. I think he's more adjustable. He has more of an impromptu type of style where he's more adjustable. I think that from my impressions of Canelo, he trains when he has a camp. I think that Bud trains all year round.
Yeah.
So I think that he has a big edge in that area. And I think that for this fight, I think that Bud is the fresher fighter as far as physically. What I've seen in Canelo is a guy who, he does just enough to win, just enough to put you in your place. Mm-hmm. He doesn't take that extra step to get you out of there and try to stop you or put extra hurdle on you. He's kind of just happy with putting you in your place. So for the last 4 years, we've seen the same exact trend in each one of his fights. He hits a guy with a couple of big shots early. The guy kind of goes into survival mode, and then Canelo kind of tones it down and doesn't go 100 miles an hour, and then they go to a decision, and Canelo wins 8 to 10 rounds. Mm-hmm. We've seen it over and over with each of his fights since the Bivol fight, and I think that that's for a reason. I don't think he has the gear anymore to push himself beyond that point to get a stoppage, because if you're not knocking the guy out cold, you have to work for the stoppage. You have to expend some energy. It could be physically taxing to go for a stoppage because the other guy's fighting back and you're pushing yourself. And I haven't seen Canelo do that in the last 4 years. Whereas Bud Crawford, I think he's willing to give more of himself to win a fight, to impress. I'm watching him. I think he's willing to give more. And I think that Bud's total package, I think he'll be willing to give more of himself, especially late in the fight. And from my perspective, I think that the fight will be close early. I wouldn't be surprised if Bud got hurt or dropped, because I think Canelo's window and opportunity to win the fight is early. Mm-hmm. But I think at some point, once the fight settles down, if Bud gets past those dangerous moments, I think he makes a neat adjustment. I think he starts to go to Canelo body. I think he starts to wear him down, and I think he pulls away late. And I would not be surprised if he was able to hurt Canelo, visibly hurt him and put him down. But that wouldn't be my exact pick, but I don't rule that out. I think that Bud is going to be the more physical fighter because he stays stronger longer. I think he maintains his strength throughout a fight more than Canelo does. And I think in the second half of the fight, Bud takes over and wins the fight.
What would be your dark horse for this fight? What is that thing that maybe guys like me on the outside looking in don't see, but there's this dark horse in every fight? What is that for you?
Like a dark horse
So
scenario.
some will say it's going to be Bud's ability to take Canelo's punch. Some will say, whether Canelo can handle Bud fighting southpaw orthodox.
I'm going to tell you what my dark horse would be in this fight. I'm going to tell you when Bud fought Earl, I kept telling people I think Bud is the puncher in the Earl Spence matchup. Even though Earl was looked at as the puncher, I said I think Bud is the puncher in this fight. In this fight right here, Bud is going to be the more physical guy.
Wow.
I think that's going to surprise people. I think that Bud is going to be the guy pushing Canelo around and being rough with him and mauling him and just having superior physicality. I don't think it's going to show up early, though. I think it's going to show up later as the fight goes on.
Wow.
And I think that's where he's going to separate himself. I think he's going to be the more physical guy, the rougher guy, the guy who's initiating the physical, pushing and mauling. I think he's going to be that guy in the fight.
What would be the ultimate surprise ending to this fight for you?
Canelo is the favorite, and I know that my pick is a little bit against the practical point of view. But no ending would surprise me in this fight. Believe it or not, there's definitely opportunity for Canelo to win. I could see both guys winning by decision, and I could see both guys actually scoring KOs. I do. I think Canelo's more window to score his KO is early and Bud's is late, but I think that both guys can score KOs. If you're treating like that in the danger zone with bad intentions, anybody could get clipped. Mm-hmm. So I don't have a surprise scenario like I can't see this guy winning by that certain way. I can see both guys scoring KOs and both guys winning by decision, but I think it's more likely if a KO were to happen, it will be Bud late or Canelo early.
Something you've taught me, Brad, is, and I think this probably will be important, how important is who judges, the three judges, and the referee for this kind of contrasting style, big versus small matchup? How important are those three judges and whoever gets the nod to officiate?
It's huge. It's huge. I was surprised that the judges list and the officials came out so early, but it's huge. It can mean everything because the fight is going to be competitive. And we've seen Canelo get the benefit of the doubt on every scorecard in every fight he's ever been in. And in the Bivol fight, he only lost 115, 113. And the first two Triple G fights, he got the benefit of every close round in those fights. Mm-hmm. In the Floyd Mayweather fight, that was a majority decision, not a unanimous decision. So I can see the judges' scorecard, the judges and the officials are just as important as what they do in training camp. You know what I mean? It's a huge, huge factor in this fight. And hopefully, I don't want to see anybody get a gift. Hopefully, everybody get what they earn.
Definitely, man. Before I let you go, Brad, final prediction. Got to put you on the hot seat, brother. What you going with, Brad?
Terence Crawford by split decision.
And you think Bud can win by split decision, Mexican holiday, in front of a ton of Mexican fans?
I think Bud is going to win the fight, but I'm being honest, I'm very leery of the scorecards just because Canelo always seems to get the benefit of the doubt in every close fight. He like the fights that he's lost, he lost them by even a bigger margin than what was scored. You know, like I thought Bivol probably won more than 7 rounds.
Yes.
I thought Mayweather deserved better than a majority decision.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Triple G fight, I don't have a problem with the second fight, but I thought Triple G won the first fight.
I got you.
That fight was a draw, so he always gets the benefit of the doubt on the scorecard. So it's a real thing. You know what I mean? It's never been the time. Canelo has never lost a close decision. You know what I mean?
That's crazy, but yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? The fights that he lost, they really weren't as close as they were made out to be. You know, so he doesn't lose close decisions. So this is a big deal. And Bud, for as great as he is, you can hit Bud. Mm-hmm. Bud's not like his defensive specialist that doesn't get touched. So I'm actually expecting a very violent fight, Purse.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm expecting a violent fight because I don't know if Bud is going to be comfortable to not, you know, step on it, knowing that Canelo always gets the benefit of the doubt.
And that's crazy because I was actually thinking, by nature, they're both kind of counter punches by nature. So not a boring fight, but I just thought it would be a fight that two guys trying to counter one another with special moments in between.
Yeah. You know what? You might be right, Purse, but I got a feeling that Canelo knows that his best window to win is put some hurt on Bud early. Mm. And I got a feeling that Bud's competitive spirit is going to make him just like really, really dig down deep on Canelo and make the fight a little bit more violent than he probably would want it to be, but because he knows the circumstances, and this is Bud's legacy is on the line in this fight. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? This fight is the fighter of the generation. You know what I mean? And Bud really wants to win this fight. I think because when people are saying that Earl wasn't the same, and the one thing that people criticize Bud on is that he doesn't have a great resume, Bud really wants this fight for his legacy. So I got a feeling that, you know, that he might, I'm not going to say make it harder than it needs to be, but I got a feeling that he'll be a little bit more violent with his approach once the fight settles in.
I can't argue that, man. If you look in the dictionary, Bud Crawford's picture could be by next to competitive spirit. So I can't argue with that at all. I don't know if I know a fighter that's more competitive than Bud. So looking forward to September 13th. Always a pleasure speaking to you, Brad. I thank you, my man.
Appreciate you, Push. Call me anytime.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.